Coming up on Mad Props, Mike Kinch, Wicked Hard Golf. We'll be coming on to kind of talk about his page, and we're catching up and stuff like that. Make sure you follow Schnabel Studios anywhere you get your social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Been posting a lot of good stuff. You can see everything from the Schnabel Studios, Mad Props, Southern Hospitality, sketching up, also other videos that have been done within the sketching up within the Schnabel Studios realm. You can see all that stuff. Follow Schnabel Studios. You can also follow Mad Props on Instagram, Mad Props Pod. You can find that out. So follow all that stuff, and stay in touch with us, stay up to date with us, all that stuff. I'm stuttering. I'm just excited. It's been hiatus after hiatus, move after move. If you guys have noticed, if you're watching, my background is like kind of put together. If you're listening, I'll tell you right now, the move is official. I'm in Indianapolis. If you watch Jordan Robles' last episode, which if you haven't, check it out at the top, somewhere up there, and go check that out. And if you're listening, just go back in episode. Jordan Robles, one of the best wiffle ball players in the world, came on. But that was my last one in Hartford, Connecticut. I am now in Indianapolis, Indiana, and my setup is all done, and we're here, and it was quite the move. I mean, my girlfriend went down before me with her mom, brought all our stuff. When I was doing that Jordan Robles interview, it was a very blank background because I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything. I didn't own anything. Or I didn't own anything currently with me. So it was tough. I had to stay up there for a week, finish up work, but I'm here and I'm so excited. So if you're in Indy and you want to say hi, shoot us a message, and maybe we can go hoop or something together. Before we get started, again, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, whether you're on YouTube or on Spotify. And if you're on social media and you see this, or if you go on social media later, throw us a like, throw us a comment. It helps us boost. We're trying to get it out to the people because we don't just do this for you, but we really do it for us. Like I just love doing this, but we also do it for everybody to kind of learn about these people, about these people, about their products, about what they do, all that stuff. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. We'll stop the rambling. Let's start the music. Let's get into it. Wicked Hard Golf, baby. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Mike Kinch. Let's start the show.
All right, Mike, he's here. What's up? We have a history together. We'll go over that a little bit. But how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for talking about your stuff. How we doing?
Good, dude. No complaints. A lot's changed since you and I were last in touch, but life's good, dude. Life's good. Baseball was the thing when you and I were last in touch, and now it's kind of pivoted to golf. So that's kind of the new thing.
Yeah, your page, Wicked Hard Golf. Wicked Hard or Wicked Hard? Wicked Hard Golf.
Wicked Hard, yeah.
Although I don't have a golf page. Yeah, you gotta do with the Boston accent. Even though you're a New England guy now, living a little north of Boston, that's where it all started and everything like that. But Wicked Hard Golf, you can find it on Instagram, and you're just kind of like showing your best scores, showing tips, have beautiful drone shots. Just definitely got some jealousy going on there with the drone shots because they're absolutely gorgeous, and you're just like, damn, how do I get there? But why don't you tell us a little bit about Wicked Hard Golf?
Yeah. So it kind of started where, honestly, I was terrible at golf. Like I was not good at golf. COVID was a thing, and if I golfed, it was maybe twice a year. That's maybe. All extremely hand-me-down clubs, wooden club. You know what I mean? I had nothing. But I enjoyed the game, but I just couldn't get into it. And then COVID happened, right? And all my buddies, or at least a good amount of them, were pretty heavily into golf. And anytime I go out with them, I was frustrated because they'd give me tons of strokes, and I just felt like I wasn't competitive at all. And me, just deep down, I was like, man, I'd like to get good at this, right? I'd like to somehow make a change here and just get into golf. So I was like, screw it, I'll start golfing on my own. Because before it was I'm not going to golf on my own. And I think it was kind of getting over a hump of just my ego of maybe getting judged of being bad out there. But actually, at the end of the day, it was I I've met so many great people just playing golf by myself. And a lot of times it'd be like really early morning because, again, COVID, I was working from home. So I could tee off at 6 a.m, play 9 holes, be back and showered and ready to go by 9, in the office. But most of the time it would be twilight rounds, just getting out when I could. And then I got the itch. They call it the itch, where like, you mix in a good hole, right? Oh shoot, I birdied for the first time. I had 3 pars in a row or 2 pars, or I shot a 40. At the time, I don't know. I mean, I was maybe breaking. I was at like 100 maybe, and I was. I wasn't good, but I enjoyed it and I wanted to get better. So it was kind of some of those things where I needed that competitive edge after I lost baseball, right? When I broke my leg going into my senior year. Baseball was my life. It really defined who I was, or at least I thought so. And a lot of my like extended, family members, whatever, anything at like family functions with baseball. I was baseball. What are you doing baseball? And so I was like, I felt like I was a nobody. Once that was over, I was like, shoot, I got nothing. And I needed to push myself to find a hobby again that I enjoyed. And that's it. And then it was golf. And I didn't care if I was with people, if I wasn't. I just wanted to get out there and play. And I just started to see a lot of results quick, like quicker than most, I guess. Like I have a buddy who's scratch, right, or even better than scratch at times, where he's shooting even par, if not breaking it. And it was just impressive. It was impressive to see. And then he'd be like, dude, like, you keep this up, and it's all repetitiveness. You gotta play a lot. You gotta practice a little bit, and it's really about getting out there. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm not good at golf. Well, do you play at least once a week? No, every 2 weeks, or once every 2 weeks, whatever. It's like you can't expect to get good at golf, right? If you're not playing. And once I got into it, it became a thing where I was like, all right, how do I get better? And I just was like, oh, let me record some of my swings. That's kind of how it started. That's kind of how the page started, where I was like, I'm going to record some of my swings and shoot. Like if I get something cool on it, if I have a good hole, like that's cool. I have it documented too. Like I'm like, oh, like, because my buddy, especially one of my buddies, him and I are pretty head to head. Like, it's like he wouldn't believe me type stuff, right? So I'd just be like, oh, I'm going to go out there. But plus it was more or less for me to like see my swing. What am I doing? If I'm slicing it heavily, why? Like, and and then I'd be on that route of like YouTube guys, teaching me like whatever. And then honestly, this is pretty early, like good golf. This is before they really blew up to what they are now. But a lot of these YouTube guys weren't much. Like golf wasn't what it is now, and I think that's something that's cool about golf, is that it's like extremely blown up, right? You got Live Golf that split up. You got rivalries now. This week you got the Ryder Cup, which again, I wasn't a golf guy. I didn't watch golf. I knew Tiger Woods and Rory, and I knew names, right? But like never watched it, barely knew the rules, right? And I started to get to know the rules and etiquette, and then there was a lot of beauty in golf too. Like I started to realize is like golf courses are beautiful early in the morning. I wasn't a real early morning guy, but shit, I would get out of bed at 5 a.m. to go play golf. And I was like, wow, I get out there, it's quiet. It was, and then I started to realize shit, golf is a lot like, not baseball in a sense, but, similar in ways where it's like it's you with you. I mean, it's team sport and baseball, but it's a lot of you against you. And then out there on the golf course, it's a lot like life, right? Where like you could be doing well. You could hit a good ball and be behind a tree. You could hit a good ball and be out of bounds. So you had to like, there was a lot of learning throughout, and it was growth phase in my life. And in COVID, it was a weird time in life. So it was something to kind of keep me going, keep a little hobby going. And then again, it kind of turned into like, wow, this is cool. This is fun. And then again, more of my buddies got into golf, and then I got more interested in watching golf. And then, like I said, like, golf outside of the professional level is massive now. I mean, you got Bob Does Sports, you got these guys out there that are, just having a good time, and they're not that great. Like their content isn't about getting better at golf. It's more or less just like enjoying the game, but enjoying company with friends. And I think that's what's cool about golf, is no matter the age, everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah. And I mean, going from baseball or a sport to golf is just like, that is the move. Like, doesn't matter what sport you played, once you hang it up in that sport, it seems like golf is always the one to go to, because you can still be competitive, you can keep playing for a long time, but it's also very peaceful and relaxing. And that's what most people like about it. For most people, at least. Some people throw clubs into the trees every time they slice or something like that. And I'm sure you know some people like that, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. But,
I
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you're up.
I was gonna say, no, yeah, with the anger part, right? Is I started to realize too. Believe me, we all get mad, and but at the end of the day, like, so one of the guys I play with was like, dude, you're not good enough to be mad. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, none of us are good enough to be
But
mad.
that's why you get mad,
Yeah,
because you're
yeah,
not good enough to be mad.
right. So, like, you're not good enough to be mad. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, in the moment, yeah, you can be pissed off. You can be a little, we all get mad, right? But at the end of the day, right, you got to realize, like, shit, I'm not that great. And then again, that's the best part about golf. You could have a shitty shot and still end up with a great hole. That's
Yeah,
what's wild with the game is you could hit a shitty tee shot, be in the other fairway, be behind a tree, and then hit the shot of your life and end up with a bird or a par. And, like, you're like, wow, how did I do that? Whereas you could have a good shot right down the middle, be stoked and chuck it, and then you're like, it could snowball badly, or you can kind of somehow manage and get by, and then you can finish with the round of your life. It's a
it's
weird,
about skill and luck. It
yeah,
really is. It's a game of
yeah,
skill, but also a game of luck. And like I said, that's why it could be peaceful, because
yeah,
it doesn't matter how, and golf really, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are. Anybody can go out and do it. Like,
yeah,
not, and anybody could do any sport, but they're not going to do it as successful. And this isn't a dig at golfers or anything like that. But like, I feel like you could bring anybody out to the golf course. They may not be that good, but they could do it for a little bit, especially if you teach them a little bit. Like, you
yeah.
can't bring somebody out to play baseball and say, like, yeah, just hit the ball and then from firing in. They're not going to do it. You can't go play fives and bring somebody that's never played basketball before and be like, all right, you're going to join that team and expect them to do anything, But
Yeah,
golf, even though you'll hit it and you'll stink, you can go out there
slow
and
pace,
learn.
slow
Slow
pace.
pace, exactly.
Yeah. Baseball, right? Yeah, you're not going to get someone going up there trying to pitch. Like, they're going to slow everything down. They're going to it's going to change the whole flow of the game. Everybody's going to be frustrated. It's just not going to happen. It's the same with pickup. You got a guy who can't do much.
We all played with that guy that can't do anything, and
Yeah,
it's great when he's on the other team, and it's awful when he's on your team. And I absolutely used to be that guy.
yeah. I mean, shit. Haven't we all in some type of sport, right? I mean, believe me, when it came to, like, growing up, I could not stand hockey, and, like, I have friends who all come play hockey or pick up or on the pond hockey, and I would just be such a liability out there. I'm like, it's like a baby
That's
deer on ice too. My
yeah.
ankles are broken inward. I'm like,
It's like now basketball is such a big part of my life now. Like,
yeah,
I play it every single day, and I used to like playing basketball. We used to play basketball and we never even talked about like how we know each other yet. We've gone about 10 minutes into this thing. So we both worked at the Red Sox camps, and you were like basically the lead of the entire thing, and I was an age group leader. I don't remember the exact titles or anything like that, to be honest with you,
yeah,
but we were basically both leads, and we became friends through that. And we used to do stuff like play basketball afterwards and like hang out and stuff like that, and that's how we became friends. So that's kind of a quick overview of that. But like, even then, we used to play basketball. As the listeners know, and as you know, I used to be very heavy. So like, I was always a liability when I played sports, because I was slower, I was bigger, I didn't move as well. But basketball was a huge part of me losing my weight. Like, especially once I got to Spokane, Washington, which is like, basketball is like life over there, obviously with Gonzaga.
yeah.
Like, I play every day now, and like,
Dude,
yeah,
cardio is legit. The cardio is
the
super legit, and
it
yeah,
is, but for me, basketball has become so big in my life, not only because of the cardio and the weight loss and stuff like that. Like, it's more of the mental ease it puts me at. And I feel like that's the same thing probably with you in golf. Like, when I need to think about something, if there's a major problem or something I really need to think about, I go play basketball for a little bit. Running is the same thing with me now. I can't stand running, but running has really helped me ease my mind. So I do it. I do like 6 miles or 4 miles or whatever, because it just helps me ease my mind a lot. But basketball is a big one on that. Like, when I have to make big decisions, I always go play basketball. Or if I really have to think about something's sitting on my mind, I go and play basketball. Fives really helps. Shooting around really helps. And again, the whole weight loss. I mean, I don't need to say the whole story again, because it's been said on this podcast many times, but to go from 420 pounds to 220 pounds, basketball is a huge part of this.
Yeah, and you look fantastic. And
Thank
like,
you. Thank
yeah,
you. Just for
absolutely.
you, actually. Just for this.
Yeah, yeah. No, dude, I used to be big pickup basketball. Also, I mean, basketball was also a big part of my life. I didn't play. I played to like sophomore year of high school, but I loved pickup too. That was one of my bigger things. I played like softball as well, and I loved them as too. And it was funny because again, golf was never a thing on my mind for the longest time. And then, dude, I actually hung up. Well, I didn't like. I haven't played pickup in probably 2 years now. It's been a while since
Hmm.
I've played. But even before that, I hadn't picked it up with COVID. But that's kind of what I was doing on this when it came to like a hobby. It was like softball and backyard softball, not like a full on league. My buddy runs one.
Yeah.
Um, and then it was pick up basketball where it's just like runs, like show up, and I did it for a sweat, but I also again like to compete. And I used to be pretty decent at basketball, pretty decent shooter, but I played some defense. But the things I hated was like I'd always catch stray elbows. I'd always like be the
Yeah.
one to my ankle. And then when
Same.
I started loving golf, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I could risk because I'm literally that guy who shows up the first time and rolls my ankle and I can't walk for 2 weeks. Like it's like so I was like I gotta make a decision. And I was like shit, I'd rather play golf 3 days a week if I can, if not more, than playing basketball. Like shit, I do miss it. I do miss it a lot. I like watching it more though now. I think I really love the Celtics team. I think this is hey, it could have been their
This is
year
it.
last couple of years, but
This is their year. They're kind of like that team that lingers around, has a great team, but is never just gets over the hump. But they brought everybody back, so we'll see.
yeah, the heart and soul is gone, but we needed that height with
Yeah,
Porzingis, and if he can stay healthy, I think we'll be all right. But
yeah. Let's see if he plays. He's still not healthy right now. They're saying he might miss the beginning of the year, but
yeah, because his foot.
because of that foot injury, that lingering foot injury. But Porzingis would be a good addition to that team, and they got rid of Williams as well, right? Williams is
Grant,
gone. Smart
Grant,
is gone. Yeah,
yeah,
but they're going to be good. I mean, with basketball, like it's very top heavy, which is definitely a topic. Like it's very top heavy league right now where I think let me rewind here before I say something that I'm actually not saying. I think this is the deepest basketball has ever been ever. Like ever in the history of the NBA, ABA, whatever. This is the deepest it's ever been.
for sure.
There's every team. If you took like the middle of the pack team today and put them in 15 years ago, they'd be one of the best teams because the
Dominated,
teams are
yeah,
just so incredibly deep. What I mean is we've gotten to a point where, and everybody knows, like people are just transferring all over the place. People are going, not transferring, they're leaving. Like the whole James Harden situation, which is ridiculous, where he literally signs the contract that he's coming back, and the next day is like, trade me. It's like, just opt out, dude. But he knew he was
right.
going to get less money. We all know he wasn't going to get 35 million on the open market. Listen, I'm a big basketball guy now.
Yeah,
When we were first talking, we would not have had this conversation because I wasn't
right.
as deep into it. But I think a lot of the stars in the league right now are younger. I mean, obviously, we still have the KDs, we still have the LeBrons and stuff like that. But like Wiggins, the Halliburtons of the world, like these guys are the stars of the league coming up, and it's a younger age, and the guys in the second round are much better than the guys in the second round 10 years ago. Like
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
a
dude,
lot of good,
all these
all these
young
young guys. I mean, look at like just on the Knicks alone, they're two of their starters in the second round. Mitchell Robinson was a second rounder, and Brunson's one of the best point guards in the league right now. Like he's the heart and soul of the Knicks. He was a second round pick. He was one of the best players of Villanova, and now he's second round pick. The end of a bench is so much better than it's ever been. It really is. There's no Scalabrinis out there anymore. I know you Boston guys love you some Scalabrini, right? You love the White Mamba, and I do too. He's a fan. He's very funny. He's great, but there's none of those in the league anymore. There's none of those. Oh, he's the worst player. When they talk about the worst players in the league, it's usually. I mean, people talk about Ben Simmons constantly. He never plays, but like he was also all NBA, and he's considered one of the worst players in the league right now. He was a former all NBA, so very deep.
You can go into Europe. You can go to all these places. I mean, it shows how deep it is worldwide. Like
USA
shit,
lost.
they
The
lost.
US
Right?
lost, and Canada lost.
Right. It don't matter. It doesn't matter who you got, honestly, everybody's that talented. I mean, the amount of
Yeah,
nutrition and workout programs, everything has just gotten that much better. And talent is through the roof, dude. It's
Yeah.
through the roof.
Well, I think it actually also comes back on what you're saying is the world is getting better at basketball. Like
Yeah.
the country, like USA used to be the gold standard, right? And Spain would be pretty good every now and then. And now Canada's on the rise. Canada has an amazing national team. Like there's some real big names on those teams, right? But these world players are coming over to America now. And I mean, look at some of the best players in the NBA right now. I would say the top 3 aren't from America. Embiid, Giannis, and Joker. None of them are American.
Yeah, and Luke Doncic. I mean, you can.
And Doncic is an American. Like the best players in the world aren't American, and that's what's making this league so deep because America still puts out the best of the best. They put out a big crop of very good players, but
Right.
the top of the game right now is from across the world. And then there are other guys that maybe aren't Doncic, but they're pretty good. They're starting somewhere. Like Franz Wagner is like huge. He's the one that like led the Germany to their title, and
Right.
he's German. He's not Doncic, but he's very good, and he's also not American.
These young teams, dude, Magic, Rockets, like they got so much talent that it's like it's got a fruition, and like they're not gonna be able to keep it all throughout the years, but you know those are the type of teams you got to worry about because if they get chemistry, and that's all it comes down to is a team sport, right? You could have just like these, USA, right? I mean. Again, it comes down to chemistry. They're working well together. They're playing well together. It could be scary. They're moving that ball. It could be scary.
Well, I think the future of the NBA is not going to be super teams like they are, like like Phoenix has done. These contracts are too ridiculous, and they're not working. They're really not working. Like you could say Golden State when KD went there, but KD went there. Everybody else was already there, right? So it's not like, they made a super team, but it's not like when LeBron and Bosh went to Miami or like right now in Dallas with Doncic and Kyrie, or, it's not like, or Phoenix is actually a better example where they got Beal, Booker, and Durant.
Yeah.
But like, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see these guys kind of do almost like the Philly system a little bit where they're going to draft, they're going to try to find at least a star of their own. And then you're going to see like who's disgruntled, who can come in. Like Orlando's a great example. Orlando has a very good young core, but they need someone that can score. Like score. Not like Banchero is a good scorer, Franz is a good scorer, but they need like an elite like point guard that can dish the ball and score. So they're going to wait to find they're going to find somebody disgruntled, and that's how they're going to build their team. Like,
and it'll be enticing. They'll be like, wow, what talent we got there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how all these small teams have to do it. You really can't build a team, or you have to do what like the Pacers did, where they trade Sabonis for Halliburton and get they're not really lucky. Everybody knew Halliburton was going to be really good, and Sabonis was pretty good. Now he's like, top level scorer at the center position. Like that's the kind of stuff you're going to see. Like now they could build around him and bring in guys around this all league player, and it's because no one can afford these big contracts. That's the problem.
Right.
No one can afford them. But just speaking in circles at this point.
No, NBA. Believe me, I could talk NBA. I could talk a lot of sports, but
same. Sports are definitely like top notch sports, and as you can tell by my background, comics, video games, cartoons. But that's for Sketching Up, which you can also find on this channel, by the way, if you're looking for that. Sketching Up, almost at episode 100. Anyway, but going back to your golf stuff, I at Dick's Sporting Goods was a golf pro, so I was pretty up there. I was so bad at golf. That's just where they put me. I wanted to be in the baseball section. Obviously, that's where my knowledge was. And they were like, no, go into the golf section. So I went there. And the good thing about being there is there was this guy. I don't remember what his name is, but I don't remember what his name is, but he was older. He was there forever. He actually taught me how to fix my swing and stuff like that. So for 2 years, I was at the peak of my golf game because I actually knew how to hit the ball. I haven't played golf in a long time. I still hang on to my baseball roots and go play in the summers as much as I can and stuff like that. So I don't want to play golf because it always screws up my swing. Oh yeah. But I did enjoy. First of all, I only enjoy 9 holes. I can't do 18. I don't know how y'all do 18. It's too long. It's like 5 hours. I don't know how y'all do.
Baby. I could be done 2.5, 3.
2.5 on 18.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Yeah, but I'm not that good. I slice into the woods. I want to find my ball. I can't find
No
it.
one's out there. If no one's out there, you can cruise, and that's why like sometimes I'll be like the first one out, and like yeah. But no, I feel you, dude. Weekend round where you're teeing off at 11-12, that's a 4.5.
Yeah, and again, going back to somebody that's not that good, like I would definitely consider myself back into the not good category. I was decent, now I'm back into not being good. I haven't played in like 5 years.
Yeah,
But another thing when you're not that good that really sucks is like the people behind you, then you're shooting through or they're rushing you, and or
you feel
people
like
on the green that just sit there forever and you're like, all right, come on, like you're holding everybody. That's the kind of stuff that frustrates me. But you get the same thing in basketball. I go play pickup basketball, I have people I'm playing with, and you got to wait until you can get on. So it's not really any
right.
different, I guess.
Yeah, and that's stuff that I still, you still deal with today. Whether it's, and I don't mind it, and I say it too. I'll believe me because I'll play with people and they'll be like, "Oh, this is just our second time out" or whatever, and I don't care. But I feel like they feel like I do because I'm playing well, or they think I'm something. And again, at the end of the day, I always tell them like, dude, we all started somewhere. Like we're
Yeah.
all we're at one point, right? So I'm like, I don't care. And at the end of the day, as long as we're not slowing everybody up, I don't mind. Like, but if we do, I will say, like, hey, might have to pick it up a little bit. Like, don't look for your ball for 20 minutes. Like, we're not, again, you're not that good. You lost it, whatever. Because when I lose my ball, I'm not looking for, I'll take a drop. This is how it is. But yeah, it's when you get caught up with people in front of you and then you're backed up and you're waiting every hole and then your rhythms, it's a rhythm game. And that's why truly, if I'm playing to score, I like to get out early. I want to get out there and I don't care if I'm with or anybody playing that early in the morning is going to be pretty decent, right? I don't think anybody's waking
I
up.
would think so. No scrubs getting up at 6 a.m. to go play golf. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. And so usually I'll get out there with people and you cruise. You cruise. And truly, I mean, I actually like playing in the rain because then I know it's going to be empty. And so, I mean, dude, the quickest round I think was like an hour and 18. I was like, wow, that's insane.
I actually, you're not the first person I've ever heard say that. I know other people that golf that are like, yeah, like when I go, I love going in the rain because like, first of all, your ball doesn't like, if you like hitting precise mids, they're like, it's perfect because it'll just splat and then like stay right there. You don't have to worry about roll or anything like that. The greens are a lot slower, so you can take it easier. Yeah. I've heard that many times before that they love playing in the rain and you're not held up because no one's going to be there because why would someone play in the rain?
Everybody cancels. Yeah, as long as it's not dump. Like I have played in like dumping, but that can get a little annoying. Your feet like are full of water, like your hands. It's
What
slippery.
was that, Caddyshack, where they're playing in the pouring rain? Is that the stuff you like going out in?
Yeah, guy died to the last hole. Bill Murray.
That's where you're going. Yeah. Runs off. That's the kind of stuff you like going on. I mean
that's
honestly,
what I prefer. It's not what I prefer, right? But like in rain, but I will. Like I will, especially in the summertime. Like now it's gonna be freaking cold. Now it sucks. It's like sun's going down early. Like twilight golf, twilight mid or dead summer, dude, is the best. It's sunny until 9 o'clock at night. You can tee off at 6 and maybe get an 18. Who knows? But like now, you tee off at five. Good luck. You might get in 9. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
at this point, it's like it's a weird time of year. Although fall golf is great with the foliage and everything.
Cooler weather.
It's a cooler weather, right? Yeah, I kind of like wearing pants playing, but yeah, it's fun, but it sucks for me because either like if I were to try to do the early morning stuff now, it's frost delays. Like it's 45, 46. Like I just played in Vermont 2 weekends ago, and we teed off. My dad and I. It was 46 degrees. I don't mind it. Like again, I don't mind it, but like when it's a frost delay, right? That means you can't tee off. You can't do nothing. They won't let you walk. Because apparently frost, you step on greens and whatnot, it just destroys
it. Yeah, it kills the grass because it's so thin.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a weird time of year. I enjoy it, but it's mostly weekend golf now. And whereas it was, I could play again after work or early before work if I could. So those are the good times. That's when I'm really playing, and that's where I'm playing so much golf. When my game is like, I'm like, man, I go out there, I just know I trust everything. But again, dude, that's what's weird about golf is you could be on such a roll, and the next day you go out there and you suck in your standard, right? And you're like, what? nothing's going right. Everything you did the day before isn't happening. You're hitting a straight, now you're hitting a draw. Next day you're hitting a slice. You're like, how am I even doing this? I can't even tell myself to do this. I couldn't even get out there and be like, I want to curve it this way, that way. Like, I'm not good enough to do that. But like, how am I doing this without even trying? And then, so you could have real frustrating days, especially if you're paying good money. Where, I paid a hefty price to play one of the top courses this year in South Carolina, and I played one of the worst rounds of my life. But I'm not gonna I just enjoyed every second being out there. And again, the beauty of it and the history, like PGA has been played there numerous times. Phil won it there in 2021, I think. He won the PGA championship there. Kiowa is the course. It's insanely priced, but it's right on the ocean. And again, I wouldn't change it, And again, they're hard. They're super hard courses. Like it's actually one of the hardest courses. I think it's number 1 in the States, but it's like top 10 or 20 in the world of like hardest conditions and whatever. I mean, dude, ocean, you got 25-mile-an-hour winds coming one way, the other way, hurting your ball.
Beautiful though.
Dude, I couldn't. And then we had a caddy. It was a whole different experience. I've never had a caddy before. I caddied when I grew up, but I barely got picked. I was a little guy, so I maybe got like 3 loops out of going like for 4 weeks, and I was like, well, I'm not doing this anymore. Having a caddy was wild. It was a different experience, but it was cool. It was with me and my best friend, and then ironically we played with 2 guys from New Hampshire. It was a father-son. Dad was probably like high 70s, if not in his 80s, and he was friggin' striping it.
Crushing it. Well, you got to remember he's been doing it for 50 years, so like,
no, he was a beast.
He knows what he's doing.
It's not even distance though; it's just like straight.
Yeah. I had a friend that would only play with irons because they hit them straight. And I guess that's something you like. People that are big golfers are like, well, that's like that just shows you're weak, basically. But I'm like, that's a smart idea. I also hit my iron straight, but I want to try to crush it off the tee. That's why I hit it into the woods. I want to hit it as hard as I move slow, but I still want to try to hit it as far as I can.
That's the biggest thing. I realized. I mean, shit, again, with golf, all I did, if I was playing golf from the ages of like 12, whatever, it was like hitting the driving range or mini golf. Like that was it. And I was ripping driver and I was trying to hit it as hard as I could. That's all I wanted to do. And that's mostly, again, a lot of, guys getting in or guys trying to get better. That's where and like your friend's smart for honestly, like guys love their drivers or their 3 woods or whatever too much where like they don't want to put it away. They're like, oh, I can hit it here. And like when you're on a hole that's like tight, it's the risk reward levels aren't great, right? Maybe you hit your driver 280 to 300 or 250 to 300, whatever. But like truly, and that's what's wild about golf is they tell you to actually like play it backwards. Like essentially you want to hit to your favorite distances. So if you have a club where you're like I have a 50 degree that I hit 100, 200, like 15 yards. It's my comfort zone. Like I put myself there. So I'll, instead of hitting that driver or whatever, where, I might be a little bit closer to the hole or I'm trying to drive the green. Like there's so many, again, there's so much ego where you got to like take it out of it. Like, and you just got to, again, like, dude, your buddy who plays irons, I'm sure he shoots pretty well. And if it's working for him, let it work for him. Again, that's where golf is so wild, is like you could have so many different skill based levels or be good at one thing or not at another. And you're always going to have to work on something. You're always going to have to get better. But anybody can do it. Like you said, anybody can get there and find something that works and make it work. And then you just work on those little things. But yeah, again, it's an addicting sport, man. It's if you get, a good hole, it turns into a good round, a good 9 holes, and it turns into a good 18, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm pretty good. And then you suck. And then you're like,
and then you go back to next test. Yeah, and it's awful.
And then your buddy's like, let's go play. You're like, all right. And then you play good.
All right, let's go.
And then you beat him for some money, right? And you're like, well, it's ebbs and flows, man. Like, earlier this year, after I shit the bed a lot in South Carolina, because I played pretty bad all of that whole trip. We played 99 holes in 7 days, and I wasn't very great. I didn't break 90, or I broke 90 one time, and my handicap last year, finishing up, because this was in April, so again, this is a long winter where like you don't know where you stand, especially as a Northeast golfer. Mm-hmm. It's hard. it's hard to have a handicap true one because guys in Florida, right, they can play all year, so you know where you're at. Whereas like at the end of the year here, once you come back, your handicap is not what it was. It's not going to be because you've just been cooped up for so long. Maybe play some simulator, which is okay. It's not. I mean, it's fun to hit the ball to get reps in, but like it's putting sucks and chipping sucks. So like it's weird. So like I was like disgruntled because I was like, man, I was way better last year. Like I was low 80s at the end of last year, and I broke 80 a few times. And again, I've had goals. I've made goals each year, and I've hit them. Besides this year, I have not. My goal this year was to shoot even par. I never did it. I shot 2 over though, so I'm like,
You're getting there. You're
I'm
getting there.
creeping up on it, yeah. But
My dad, who was very big into golf, he doesn't do it as much now, but he's a very smart man. And he told me, you never really should play against people. Play against yourself. Make yourself better each time you go out. Like, yeah, you can have fun playing with your buddies and stuff, but like the number one person you should be competing with is yourself. Like you should be trying to make your next round better than your last round. And that's how you're going to get better. Like, yeah, competing with other people is fun. And like you said, having side weight, all that stuff's really fun. But if you go out and you shoot one, like a 91 and an 88, the next one, you're getting better. Like that's how you should always go out and do that. That's how he does it. Like he'll go out and play tournaments where all he cares about is out shooting himself in the last one.
yeah, and that's what golf is, regardless. And I've talked to because again, I didn't play in high school or nothing, but I've played with guys who did, and I'm like, so how? Because I've noticed it, dude. Believe me, I've noticed I don't play that great when I play for money because I'm so focused on their game rather than myself, and I'm focused on like, oh, I hope he fucks up, rather than me like let me just get this hole over with. Let me compete on this hole with myself. That's what golf is. It's you against you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right? There's nothing. If you're snowballing, no one's going to save you. You know, you're not going to have some poppy come in and hit a grand slam. You cannot. There's no one saving you in this game. And so I think that's what's wild. And again, that's where it kind of correlates to life, where like again, you could be dealt a shitty hand and make it out of it, or like you could like it's again you against you, and mentally like it's grueling. Like it can again. That's for like the guys who break clubs, throw clubs. It just shows like they really let it get to them. And like at that point, you've already lost. And why do that, right? You know, maybe it happened on the 4th hole, but you still got, 14 holes to go. Like at the end of the day, like you could have the shittiest hole and still shoot your best round. That happened to me. My first best round when I first broke 80, I tripled the last hole and I still broke 80 because I was so steady the whole round. Even though I fucked up at the end, it was still good enough to get me over that hump. Whereas like I could have or you start with a double. You first hole you double and you still end up like a lot of people will call quits. Fuck, I'm not doing nothing. I'm breaking records. I'm not breaking because that's what a lot of people think is they like, oh, I doubled. I'm gonna hang it up today. I'm just gonna get hammered out here, which again is fun too. Some of those times where you're out there and you're just like, screw it. I'm gonna have a few cocktails out here today. But like, yeah, it's such a wild game, man. And again, I think what I've loved about it and what I again in the future is like I can play this hopefully, health wise and everything till I'm, 70s, 80s.
Till you croak.
Exactly. And that's what's cool about it, right? Is like baseball, like it's weird, but like I don't have an itch to play it again. Like my arm is toast. Like I do have an itch because like again, I'll play catch and shit and I'll feel like I still got it.
Yeah.
But like my arm is toast and I'm like, it hurts. It hurts like a month. Like after I play catch, dude, it will hang for like 3 days. So it's like, it would have been cool, but even softball.
Every spring, it's when it happens, right?
Yeah.
Spring training's coming around. Some guys are playing that you knew, and you're like, dang, I really want to play again. And then you start, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, hey, we need a guy, this, that, whatever. And I'm like, shit, like I would. And it's tough, dude. It's tough saying no. But I think what's going to bring me back, and I've talked about it, is I'll probably get into coaching, maybe baseball at one point. I haven't done it since the Red Sox camp, but like it was one of the most gratifying jobs I had.
Yeah.
In terms of literally just seeing the kids and them actually listening to me, like wanting to get better. Obviously not all of them, right? But like you got 2 or 3 of those kids who are truly like looking eye to eye and like picking up what you're putting down and then going out and executing. And you're like, wow, like that kid actually wants to get better. And it's cool when you see that, because then you see yourself when you were younger and you're like, wow, that was me. And I knew I had bad coaches and whatnot. So I know I want to get back to the game at one point, but right now I'm kind of focused on my game, you know?
Yeah, that's like the number one thing. So when I went to Gonzaga originally, I was doing it for coaching. And for anyone that doesn't know, that's actually how I started my weight loss. Is I was training to get in better shape because I was going to be a GA at Gonzaga, which ended up not happening because of COVID and whatever. But like the number one reason people become coaches is because they've had bad coaches.
Yeah.
Like I think that's insane. Like it's not because, we all want to make the kids better. We all want, but the number one reason you see a lot of guys that are good dudes that love the sport and want to see people get better become coaches is not because of any of those three things. It's because they've had bad coaches and they know they're not going to be that. And it's just, that's such a crazy stat. Like if you took a poll, which I know this because for a research paper, I did take a poll. And that's the number one reason people become coaches is because there's the guys that are like D1 higher professional, whatever. That's probably not it. They just love the sport. They're knowledgeable, like high school coaches, little league coaches, travel ball coaches, all that stuff. That's why I was coaching. I've had bad coaches. Like it's really it's crazy how big of a reason it is for a lot of people to become coaches.
Yeah. Political favorites, whatever it may be, right, is a lot when it comes, they want to be the star rather than the team, right? They want, the wins. They take the wins and make it seem like they're the reason, right? And that's not what I would get into coaching for. I wouldn't care about winning or whatever, or I would, like, I'd want to win.
You want to win, but you want to win because the people that are around you are improving, not because you're there. Like a good coach, that's what it is. You're improving everybody, and that helps the improvement of the team. If you think you're just going to come in, you're going to win because you're the greatest of all time, it's not going to happen. Like you have to set a standard for the people there.
Yeah, culture, big time, right? And it's just like if the kids are enjoying being there, and that's something that ended up happening to me in a sense, right? Is like baseball became not that enjoyable for me anymore. It was super saturated with the amount, like college baseball is wild, right? The amount of people who get recruited and whatever, like you get promises and this and that when you're getting in the recruiting process, and you get there and you got 8 infielders and you got already guys starting who are junior, seniors, and you're grinding, you get some time, then you make a mistake and then you're pulled out. And it's like, that shouldn't, I mean, it's a wild thing, right? Where a coach can truly turn you off from the game that you've loved your whole life.
It's awful.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough, man. Because it started happening. My high school coach wasn't great either. And so like that kind of, but it never deterred me. That was why I was like, I know who I am. I know what I can do. And if, you want to, because I had arm issues, and he's like, you got to pitch. I'm like, dude, I'm not pitching. Like, I have a doctor's note. Like, I'm not ruining my future for you. Like, I'm not doing that. And he's like, all right, well, then you can't play shortstop. I'm like, all right, I'll play wherever then. What do you want to put me? He puts me in center. Still did, out there. And I'm like, do it. Like, we'll do whatever, man. Like, but that's the stuff where, again, like you're saying, it's coaching. There's so many good coaches out there, but there are so many bad ones that just have again, different, I don't know, they're doing it for the different reasons, right? Whether, again, Little League, because to coach their kid, but then they're only favoriting their kid and their friends.
I think that's different. Little League coaching, it's very political. But I personally, my personal theory is there's so many more bad coaches today than there's ever been. And I can't speak as a fact to that because I was not around. I've never taken a poll. I've never taken a survey, nothing. But I think there's a lot more bad coaching today. And it might just be this. There's an oversaturation of coaches because there's travel ball from U7 to U19, like crazy, U20, like crazy. And with all those teams, and it's not like it's just one per state. There's in a single state, you can have 150 travel programs that have 8 to 9 teams each. You need a coach for every single one of them. Like you're not going to always have the cream of the crop. And I also think AAU ball, and this is more speaking for basketball and baseball than anything else. I think that's changed a lot of like what kids get burnt out. I think it really ruins kids athletically as well. But I mean, this is all a topic. I think for maybe not. Maybe this is a topic perfect for now. I think it ruins a lot of kids' careers because you're playing a sport that's taxing on you at a very high competitive level. I think youth needs non-competitiveness for a little bit. I don't mean like little leagues giving trophies to everybody or anything like that. Like that's not the side I'm on, but you need to go and play to have fun for a little bit before you start playing to be competitive. I think maybe 15, 16, 17, maybe even 14, like when you get to high school, that's when you should start seeing competitive baseball. I don't even mean AAU, like even if you're just playing high school ball or something like that. But like when you're 10 years old, you shouldn't be competing at a high level at that point. You're going to ruin your arm. You're going to ruin a lot of things. And the worst part is you can have a 9-year-old go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, lose a championship game, and you ruin this person's confidence at 9 years old. Like they don't know how to process this.
No. And like, yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, think about it. I mean, because not only that, and then the peers, right? The peers will be the ones to be on him. Oh, you still go through. You're the reason we love whatever, right? And there's just a lot of snowball with that. But again, with the young ages with AAU, I mean, dude, and it's a money game. That's the biggest thing.
That's the worst part.
These parents are spending $2,000 or $3,000 for their 10, 11-year-old to play travel ball for something that truly don't matter. Like you're saying, right, is where they should be enjoying the summer. Like, yeah, play baseball like two days a week, 3 days a week, but not, you shouldn't be playing double headers on Saturday, Sunday, and then another couple games throughout the week that you're whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's what, and I can say that's kind of happened. I started at, I think 13. 13 was my first AAU. 13, 14, no, it might have been 14, but it was AAU. And I mean, then I was on like 16 at once. I was on like 4. It was like AAU because it was first Babe. So I was Babe Ruth, Lou Tompkins, AAU, and then some other team. It was like all Newton. It was like an all Newton all-star team or something. And like, dude, I told my dad that at one point I was a little burnt out from it, but I never lost the love of the game from that. But I do think it screwed me a little bit because those coaches again don't care. You'd be pitching, you 5 innings. You'd pitch well, right, through 5 innings out of 7, and then you play doubleheader and you're playing shortstop and you're making 7, 8 plays plus all the warm-ups throughout it, and it's a big diamond, and you just transitioned from 13 to 14.
Yeah.
It could take a toll, and I think it did on me for sure. My arm was just like toasted when I came like 16, 17.
When I coached AAU, I'm not the biggest fan of AAU ball, and I had a not great experience playing AAU ball or travel ball, whatever you want to call it. But I did coach it because it's same reason I worked for the Red Sox as a Yankees fan. Like they were willing to pay me, no one else was, and so you got to do what you're best at, right? So when I did it, we always had a schedule of who pitched when for what team. Because again, like you're saying, like these kids would play for their schools, they play for this team, they played Little League, they played Babe Ruth. So like if a kid pitched on a Wednesday and we played on a Saturday, guess what? Your kid's not pitching all weekend. Like if your kid pitched 3 innings and pitched 70 pitches on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be like, well, listen, the most they're going to pitch is an inning and 15 pitches. Like that's it. Like we're not blowing out their arm for any reason. I'll say on top of this, our record was never that good, but the teams we would play, these kids would be pitching Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, like all the time. And Major League Baseball pitchers don't do that much. Like these guys are professionals. 5-6 days. You have to have that. You do not go on short rest. When guys go on short rest, it's a huge deal. And there's a reason for that because they shouldn't be doing it. And so this 13-year-old should. Like, that doesn't make any sense. This kid's going to have Tommy John at 14 years old. Like, it makes no sense.
It's happening often.
It's happening often. Another thing that I had never taught, I'm kind of just going into my own coaching philosophy at this point. I never taught curveballs. I never taught a curveball. I would never teach a slider. I was fastball changeup guy. I would teach you 5 different fastballs. I wasn't a pitcher. I was a catcher my whole life. I picked up a lot of stuff being a catcher. Working with guys after that as well, not only with the Red Sox, but I've worked with a lot of colleges and stuff like that, like picking up different ways to throw fastballs, picking up different ways to throw changeups. I could teach you 4 different ways to throw a changeup, 5 to 6 different ways to throw a fastball, and that's all I would teach you. No curveballs, no sliders, nothing like that, because it kills these kids' arms at 12, 13, 14. It kills their arms. Curveballs, like, I feel like they're taught very early, and there is ways you can throw curveballs without doing the break, but by the time you get, if you want an actual curveball, you have to have the break. But yeah, I
Well,
didn't
those are
teach
two
him.
pitches too. That I mean, like you said, the fastball, changeup, like those are the two pitches that are going to get you noticed. Like no one's like, dude. I mean, you can, yeah, that guy's got a sick curveball, 12-6, whatever. It's got a lot of movement, but like if you could throw decently hard, or if you have a good changeup, which no, like think about some of these guys in the MLB who don't have a good changeup. It's because they never
Yeah.
learned it. They didn't, and that's that pitch that can truly differentiate you. You know what I mean? You think about Pedro, like his fastball changeup, like that's what was his bread and butter, and you couldn't touch it. And they don't teach changeups. They don't like to teach changeups because I don't know. And I guess at a young age, a changeup in a sense isn't that much of a difference because these kids don't throw
But
that hard.
I
But it
I
does.
disagree. I
Yeah.
totally disagree. I'm going to cut
Right.
you off there because I super disagree with this.
Okay.
I think a changeup, even though the speed difference isn't going to be that much at this age, the movement difference between not a four seam, you could throw a two seam, you could throw a sinker, you could throw all those different fastballs. The movement difference between the two, like at the age of 12, 13, 14, even 15, when I was teaching, I was a assistant head coach for a high school, and I was teaching ages 12, 13, 16, and 18U at the time. And I was doing private lessons. Now, all I taught were fastballs and changeups. And to the younger kids, I'm like, listen, it's not the sexiest thing. It's not the thing you're going to really go, oh man, my curveball breaks this much. At this age, your curveball's not going to do anything. It's just going to kind of loop in the air. So why not throw these pitches that are going to break in different ways? And I had a lot of these kids have success now. I've been following them into high school, and they pitch fastballs and changeups, and their fastball goes this way, their changeup goes this way, their sinker goes this way, their four seam looks like it's going up. Like that, it's not really the change of speeds, what you're going to get to eventually, but it's the different movement, different placement.
Yeah.
They all come like this, but then
Right.
they're all going different directions. And that's what's making these guys, this is what's giving you that success. So yes, I do agree with you that the change of speed is completely irrelevant because they're going to be the same speed. These kids don't throw hard enough or anything.
Right.
But when you're teaching them the right way to do it, you're teaching the right grips, you're teaching the right way to throw it. It's the movement of the pitch that is big to me. Like the cutter, changeup, sinker, two seam, four seam. It was like the circle change and the regular change. Those were the ones I always taught. And I had kids that like are being looked at by colleges now because they pitched those pitches, and they're very successful at pitching those pitches. I had a kid that threw 65 tops when he got to his senior year, and he was looked at by colleges because all he did was throw fastballs and changeups, and he can pin them. He can pin them.
No, paint. Yeah, it's accuracy is everything, and I agree with you. I guess my point was like I guess I never saw a good changeup from me. What I'm thinking is like a young age when like you're learning to pitch. I guess so. I'm talking like little.
No one teaches it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Especially
you
when,
pitched.
like,
Did someone say like, "Hey, this is how you should throw your changeup this way and this way"? Like, no. There's like, here's your fastball, throw a curveball,
and the kids' hands aren't big enough. You know what I mean? So it's got to be. You know what I mean? You're right.
It's basically a palm ball at 13 years old, but it still gives you that break that you want. It still gives you the break that you want, and that's what I really look for in these with these kids. So but your point is correct, but I'm countering the part where it doesn't matter. I think it still does matter. And then when you get to 16, 17, 18, your hands grow and you get bigger and you're throwing harder.
Yeah.
You've been perfecting this pitch since you were 12, 13 years old. Like these 5, 6, 7 pitches.
You're almost further ahead than some guys that are in college, right? That maybe had a good fastball, curveball, fastball, slider, whatever. Because again, a lot of guys, like you said, it's not sexy, and in terms of practicing it, it doesn't,
it's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not fun. I think I threw a slider when I pitched. I tried to teach kids how to throw. I think slider is the most dangerous one because if you don't have your mechanics right, it destroys your arm.
Yeah,
so like
I do a lot of crazy shit when I was younger too. That's another thing for sure. I was good at it. I had crazy shit in Little League. But yeah, I don't know if it was a good thing.
Yeah, and now you're like you said, your arm hurt. Like my arm hurts when I throw because I threw a ton of sliders.
Yeah, it's not really my elbow. I never really had elbow issues, but it's my rotator cuff. Yeah, my rotator cuff and everything is just toasted, dude.
Yeah, So when you go into coaching, telling you, teach those things. The kids are gonna. You can make it fun too. What I would say is, if you can throw these pitches, I'll teach you how to throw a knuckleball. Dude, I
Yeah.
can't tell you. If my kids all became pros, we would have a flock of knuckleballers because I would always teach them how to do knuckleballs. And I'd say, we could practice knuckleball after we practice fastball changeup, because they want the curveball, they want the slider. And then when they get old enough, I'll show them the curveball and slider and all that stuff, because you do need to know that stuff at some point. Or if
Yeah.
you're closer, you don't. I mean, Mo got by with one pitch. So
Right. No,
he's pretty
but
dang
no,
good.
for sure. The incentivizing them. And shit, that's what we used to do, at those camps. I mean, that's what made it fun. It's like we
Yeah.
were in control, and like we weren't going to push that stuff because obviously that's all we heard. Oh, teach me how to throw a curveball, throw me a slider, or
Yeah.
whatever, screwball, right? All these pitches. It's like, dude, focus on. Can you even throw? Can you even throw a second pitch? Like, can you throw anything
Yeah.
else?
Can
Like,
you even throw your
I get it.
fastball?
Yeah, can you even throw? Can you even throw?
You throw a ball? Do you know what a ball is? My favorite
Yeah.
part of those camps, especially the second, you weren't there for my second year when I basically had the head of the camps. My favorite part was going up and these kids would talk smack to you and you just hit a nuke 450 feet off an 8-year-old. Oh my God. It's the best feeling in the world. You just absolutely crush it. And then you just walk to the next field. Oh, I loved it. That was my
Oh
favorite
yeah.
part of it all.
The best,
Kids
yeah, you'd
talking
be like,
smack.
I'm automatic hitter on both teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know once my at bat. I'm going to run over there and crush one and then come back.
Everybody back up because I'm
Yeah.
not facing a lawsuit.
Everybody take 52 steps back. 52 steps. And I never, luckily, and not that I can remember, I never hit one on the ground. Probably would feel so, you go up there, you just hit one on the ground, like, damn it. I'd rather hit a 450-foot pop up to the pitcher than a ground ball that made it through for a double or something like that. I'm not running. I'm not sprinting.
That is a weapon. You hit a ground ball or a line drive, that is truly a weapon. That could murder a small child.
Yeah. And even the 13-year-olds weren't enough to do that. But
it's still a small child. In a sense.
Still a small child. They may be a little better, but
90-mile-an-hour off the bat.
Right out of a 13-year-old. Oops. Hey, you signed the waiver, right, kid?
Yeah. Right.
Before we take off, so tell us where we can find Wicked Hot Golf. How often do you post? All that stuff. Where else can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm only on Instagram right now. I'm probably gonna do a YouTube pretty soon, especially because of like what I have with the drone. The drone, right? I mean, they make newer ones now, but I don't have one that shoots in, whatever the 16:9. So it's wide. It's, so it sucks when you got to condense that, and the quality isn't as great as like what it actually is. And that's what YouTube is. And I think maybe I'll start doing maybe some course reviews, stuff like that, and maybe like full rounds of golf. I don't know. But I might play around on YouTube at one point, probably soon. Because again, I think I have tons of content. I mean, I have so much stuff from the past, 2 years or so. I feel like I started 2 years ago. And in terms of posting, like I try. Again, it's hard, especially it's going to get a lot harder right now with the cold weather. But I'll try and make some trips, like I did this year. I did South Carolina, and I had a buddy, and I have a lot of content from it. I didn't play great, but I have a lot of funny stuff from that trip.
It doesn't matter if you play great, to be honest. It just matters getting the content out there and having the backup of it.
Twice a week I'm posting now, but I wanted to start to post every day at one point, but it's hard. It's hard to keep it up, especially with a full-time job. It's hard to stay up on it, but it's a hobby now. It's for fun. It's to get people into golf and to, kind of get people more engaged of like talking about, their favorite stuff about, what are your favorite courses? What are your, what's your coolest shot you've ever done or witnessed or whatever. I like to get people engaged with it, but it also keeps me engaged. And again, I think meeting people, whether it's through the app, because like I said, I mean, I've communicated a lot with some of these other content creators or whatever, and it's cool hearing their stories, what they're about. A lot of them are coaches, strength and conditioning, stuff like that, and it's cool to hear their side, and they're trying to understand how I'm trying to get better. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm doing this because I like it, I enjoy it, and I'm trying to, I guess, push the game a little bit more and make it a little bit more not mainstream, but just like, because golf isn't the pretty sport. It's not the sport that anybody really talks about. But I think what's crazy about it is you can play from a young age, and if you do, and I mean, most guys I play with who are not that great or are just getting into it and getting better, everybody's like, I wish I played when I was 11, 12 years old. And like you said, in terms of versatility of a kid, kids should be playing 3 sports when they're younger until they're,
Yeah.
even in high school. And like, yeah, it's good to focus on one sport, but like, you got to be a little bit,
You never know what you're going to love if you don't try everything. I just found my love for tennis 2 years ago and never knew I had it, but it's because I never tried.
Yeah, tennis is a tough sport.
It is.
Tennis is a tough sport. I like ping pong. I've never played pickleball. I know that's a big one now.
It's
I
fun.
think I'd be pretty good. But
yeah, you'd do great if you are athletic in any sort of way. You'll do fine.
But
that's what I've noticed. You either have to be slow, old, and very skilled, like curving the ball, or if you just have any little bit of athleticism, you'll be good. If you're very athletic, you're going to be fine. Doesn't matter what. Just don't pop the ball. Don't pop the ball up in the air. That's it. That's the only thing you got to not do.
Yeah, I saw some woman get pretty mad recently. It was like a pickleball tournament, and the girl kept hitting it into the sun, and she was complaining because she couldn't hit it into the sun. It was like, why are you complaining? Like, make an adjustment or let the ball drop. She was like hitting it directly in the sun and missing every time. She was getting pissed about it. I'm like, make an adjustment.
Well, so if you verse somebody that's really good at pickleball and you're kind of popping it, you're going to lose every single time. They're just going to smack it down in front of you. So like you got to either very soft into the kitchen, as they call it, or you have to really just lace one. And that's why if you're athletic, you're good because they'll try to slam them all the time. But if you're just even a bit athletic, you can get over. It's like ping pong, but it's human size. That's literally what it is. It's ping pong, but it's human size. But it's fun. It's definitely fun. I like tennis more. My girlfriend and I play a lot of tennis, and it's because my time at the U.S. Open got me into tennis. I really just enjoyed how and golf kind of fits into this. Soccer has definitely fit into this because I've worked in soccer, but tennis, I didn't you knew they were athletic. You knew there was athleticism because you'd see matches going for 6 hours. The amount of athleticism these athletes come in with is just so off the wall, and TV does not do it any justice. Replays don't do it any. Seeing Djokovic or Alcaraz in person go from one side of the court all the way to the other side of the court, all the way to the net, you don't realize how far of a run that is until you've done it, until you really up close and see it. So I've definitely grown a love for it.
The endurance, it's just insane. Yeah, no, I respect the hell out of tennis players, but I've never really truly watched it. I've never been to a live event. Never been to a live golf event. Ironically, that's probably going to be soon. But yeah, I never did. There was actually one in Brookline, Mass, the U.S. Open last year. I actually got to play that course this year, which is pretty sweet.
The U.S. Open is or was in Brookline.
It was in Brookline last year. Yeah.
Wow.
Which was pretty sweet. A really historic course that's extremely private. And I was lucky enough to know someone who's caddied there. And that's how I got on. But it's very private. That's what's cool too. There's so much history to the game. And again, you go back and you think like, wow, Tiger Woods played this course, or they did this, or so there's like historic moments on certain holes. And again, back getting into golf and whether it's watching old things or like I said, the Ryder Cup this week, it's like when you haven't watched it and then you do, especially the Ryder Cup. Like if you've never watched any of the Ryder Cup type stuff, it is insane. It is like the most rowdy. Because it's Europe versus U.S. and this is in Italy. This is going to be a European crowd that's going to be booing the U.S. guys, and they're going to be fired up for the European guys, and they're like as loud as it can get. So they're on the tee box. They do a practice thing. They're like woo, woo. You'll hear the whole crowd just making noises. It is wild. And it's stuff that like again, you Tiger brought golf onto the scene, but like I'm liking where it's going when it comes to just like the popularity of like the fans and getting into it. Live golf is wild. It's different. A lot of people, there's a lot of chatter with it, but I think it's cool. It's different. It's a team too. It's a team sport. And that's something what's cool with golf too, is like, I think that's how you get other friends involved is scrambles. Scrambles are fun as hell, where like your buddy don't play can contribute with putts and can mix in a good shot every now and again, that you take their ball, whatever. And it's a team sport, right? You're working together. So that's what's cool about the game. And that's what I found to love about it. And there's so much more to learn. So yeah, that's kind of the spiel. That's kind of wicked hard golf. Wicked hard golf. That's what it is, man. It's my baby, but like, again, it's kind of just, it's for fun. And I've seen myself grow. Like I didn't have much, and I'm almost at 2,000 followers, which is pretty cool. Like, especially for again, I've been on some hiatuses, especially this year. I haven't posted a ton this year, but I've been playing a lot still, and I've been getting better. And I think I'm just kind of figuring out my niche or what I want to do because I'm kind of all over the place, but we'll figure it out.
So go follow Wicked Hard Golf, and you'll get the content, and you'll maybe even learn a little bit. And I have a brilliant idea, and then this will be it. All right,
Yeah.
this is for Wicked Hard Golf. No one else can use this. No one else. This is for Wicked Hard Golf. This is my creative mind for you. If you want a really good piece of content, and this can be when you make your YouTube, go get wireless lav mics, get 2 of them,
Yeah.
one for you and one for somebody else. And then go when someone's going out as a single, pair up with them and like interview them while you're playing and put that out as content.
I've thought that, believe me, dude. I've thought that's a great idea because I have thought that. I've thought of like, it's because it's hard, right? Getting the certain person and being like, hey, do you care if, you're part of this or into it? Because I have done it where I'm like, do you care if I record where it's just me? I'm not recording you, but like, do you care? But, yeah, it's a good idea. Like whether it's just like a quick interview or like how'd you get into golf, like story time,
just
right?
It could be very basic. It could be very basic. What do you do? Like you're with a person, and so there's this great podcast. I wish I can remember the name of it. It's a great podcast, and if I can remember it, I'll put it in here somewhere. There's a great podcast that what they do is they're in LA. They set up in LA a table with a microphone, and they just have people sit down. Whoever wants to be a part of it gets to just sit down. And they interview them. They interview this random person, and you learn about people. And it went viral because Van Lathan, I don't know if you know who that is. He's with Bill Simmons stuff. He sat down and talked with them. Van Lathan's very famous, like very, very famous, like Oscar winner, worked for TMZ for years. He's the one that confronted Kanye at TMZ.
Yeah.
If you remember that, like a long time ago, that's Van Lathan. Now he's with Bill Simmons, and he does a lot of stuff like that. But he joined them. He like sat down and he talked about it. They had no idea who he was. He didn't say his name. They just asked questions like, so what do you do? Like, what's your biggest accomplishment? He'd be like, one of my biggest accomplishments is like, I won an Oscar recently. I was an Oscar and Emmy, something like that. But I won an Oscar recently. And these guys are like, who is this guy? Like, so it's stuff like that is amazing. And you learn about regular people.
For sure. No, that's what I guess I was getting at one point in our conversation is like, that's what's cool about golf is like, and like you said, it would be cool to make content at it. It's just, I'm not at that point where I don't know if I have the confidence of like, I don't know if I have the capabilities or because again, it's me. I don't have like a crew with me to record and whatever.
You don't need a crew. You don't need a crew. All you need is a tripod, baby. That's what I've learned.
But not in a cart. Like if it's in a golf cart, it's different, or if you're sharing a cart with them or not, like that's what's different about golf is like I essentially have to be in a golf cart with them to make it work. I thought about maybe like even if it's just a start with friends or like someone who's willing or like not like acquaintance, someone close by that's into golf and wants to tell a story or how they got into it. Because I think that's what's cool about golf is like I said, someone could have started at 5 years old or they could have started 2 years ago, 2 months ago, and they just love it, get addicted, and that's just wild. It's like everybody's at a weird point in golf and they get into it and they're like, wow, this is cool. And so, yeah, for sure. That's definitely on the books. I'm definitely thinking about it. But it's kind of just the logistics at this point where, I mean, I have GoPros, I can have them pinned to the cart.
It's easy enough.
Essentially stars aligning when it comes to who you're out there with, so if it's random, I think I could get there. I've seen people do that on the range. They'll go up on the range and say, hey, what's your handicap, if you don't mind me asking? And, they'll say that, and they'll say their handicap, and they're like, do you mind if we see your swing? Stuff like that. I've seen a lot of cool stuff. Believe me, there's a lot of cool YouTube, Instagram, whatever, influencers that, have some really good ideas with golf that are, again, growing the game and are getting young kids into it. I think, again, because that's young kids, golf isn't, again, pretty. It's not the one on TV. It's not Sunday night, it's not Monday night. It's, not World Series. You don't hear about any of their big time stuff. So it's more or less kind of getting into the younger generation and making it fun, making golf fun, which it is. It's a fun sport, but it's tough sport.
Go follow Wicked Hard Golf and you keep up with everything. Thank you for joining again.
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike, for joining us. Go follow Wicked Hard Golf on Instagram. Again, also follow on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or TikTok, or I forgot one, but I don't, Facebook. Go follow Schnabel Studios. You can stay up to date with everything we do, see the videos we put out, see the podcasts that come out, all that stuff. Go follow us on all the social medias, and also follow us on YouTube to see different videos, different podcasts. You can hit the subscribe and the bell icon to get up to date. If you're listening to us, search Schnabel Studios. You'll find Mad Props. You'll find Sketching Up. You'll find Southern Hospitality. Go follow those, subscribe to those. Get updated on that so you can hear every episode when it comes out. Won't even need any updates. They'll come straight to your phone. So go do that. Again, follow Wicked Hot Golf to see more of Mike and his adventure through the golf realm. Thank you guys again for coming to episode 49 of Mad Props. I actually don't even think I said that in the first thing. This is episode 49. We're one away from 50. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We're glad you're here, but it's time to say goodbye. See you later. This was Mad Props.